Streetside Classic. We're here at our Classic Caffeine and Community with Fort Wealthy Worth podcast show. And today we have a special guest. We have Miss Heidi Hickman. And so I have been practicing your title at your company's name, but I'm always getting mixed. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it alone and let her tell her what her title is. Ms. Hickman, tell me what you do out here in the community.
So I am a forensic death investigator for Denton County. Pretty much like what other counties would consider like a coroner. So we go out where all people have passed away of unnatural deaths.
Unnatural death. Okay.
And we investigate them.
All right. So the first word that caught my ear on that one was unnatural death. So what is an unnatural death?
Yes. So unnatural deaths fall under suicides, homicides, overdoses, car wrecks, falls, anything that is unnaturally the way you would die, pretty much.
Okay.
Not anyone that's in like the hospital for cancer or something like that. Most like accidents.
Okay. Now, one of the things, again, that caught our interest is that the deaths with vehicles, the car crashes. You know, we're teaching drug and awareness, drunk driving. We teach these kids stuff to our kids, our youth out here. So when you're out there investigating, how many are these teenagers? Have you had that?
Yes.
There's kids involved?
Yes, we've had kids. We've had, I work for Denton County. Small. It's a big county, but it's smaller compared to the Tarrant County.
Right.
So you have a lot of kids that like to go party and do stuff like that. Drink, drive home. We've had, that I also have to deal with death notifications, so I have to go tell the parents about their kids.
Wow.
But we've had kids before, not just car wrecks, drugs. Fentanyl is a big deal around here. They get stuff off the street that they think is, oxycodone, and they get it
all mixed up.
Yeah, and it's not good, and then they overdose. But a lot of kids, 16, they get their first car. They're doing all this. Some of them do stupid stuff with it, or that age is kind of like it's very like you have to learn on your own kind of age. So you learn from your mistakes, and sometimes you just got to be very careful with what you do because it can be very bad.
It can be the last thing you do.
Right.
It can be the last thing you do.
Right.
And so what we're doing, we're teaching the stuff that DOT teaches down there in Huntsville, Texas. Route 66 is where we get our certifications from. But like you said, the oxycodone, the drugs, the meth, it's all a drug. It all impairs your vision, impairs your thought. And so this is something that we want to tell our kids, they're still kids, their minds are not fully developed yet, don't be out here, even with the adults, don't get me wrong, it's not something to get behind the wheel of a car when you don't have 3 or 4 beers,
Exactly.
And so everybody say, and I'm one of them, 3 or 4 beers is nothing, but it is. It do cause you to think a little slower, react a little slower, and that was causes accidents out here on the road. So, how you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, how you good? All right, so someone get this position, death investigator. It's a pretty cool name. Forensic death investigator. Now, is this something you went to school for that you knew you was gonna,
Actually, no.
Okay.
So I actually went to school first for criminal justice, and I got my counseling license, and I worked at a juvenile prison for almost 10 years, and I counseled juveniles.
Okay.
Kids probably like that you've been teaching.
Right.
A lot of them, it was prison, so they were in there for TJJD. It was TJJD. Yeah. And I worked at the one here, it was in Roanoke. It's closed down now, but it was called McFadden.
Yep.
And
Heard of it?
yeah, I worked there forever, and I counseled a bunch of kids there. I was there for 6-7 years. But counseling is it's a very hard job, especially kids. They don't, they're still developing, and they don't see past tomorrow. So it was very challenging, but I do have some success stories. It's actually kind of ties into one of my scenes from the video, which I'll have to tell you.
Okay, sure.
So then after doing that, I was like, I want to go back to school, do something totally different. So I went to mortuary school, and I did embalming. I did all of that stuff, and graduated from there. I was top of my class there. I really enjoyed it. You know, if you find something that you really like when you go to school, it doesn't feel like a task. Like, I enjoyed all my classes. I passed everything. And then they had this opening for this job, but it had the forensic element, which I didn't really have. But the county was like, we pay for all your forensic training. You just pretty much have to have a degree and be comfortable around dead people in all states of death, you know, from fresh to skeletons. And so we only have our office will only have 7 positions, so it's very small, and not a lot of times a job opening comes up because people that do what I do, they do it forever. You know, it's kind of one of those niche kind of jobs.
You get in and you stay in.
You just stay in. You really like it.
Gotcha.
So I applied and I got the job, and I've been there now almost like 7 years, I think.
Okay. Now, so you mentioned you got to be comfortable around all types of bodies.
Yeah.
You know, the body as a whole, body in parts. So when a body dies, tell us what happens. What happens to the body?
So right when you die, the first thing that happens is your body starts immediately decomposing.
Okay.
But it does it in different ways. One thing that happens is called lividity. The blood pulls to the lowest part of your body. So if you die in a chair, you'll have lividity on like the bottom of your legs and stuff, which also tells us if people moved you or not. If you die a certain way, the blood pulls a certain way, so we can tell. Okay, well, that body did not die there. They were laying this specific way when they died, because we can tell by that. Rigor mortis is, I know there's a lot of pictures going around the internet. You see people like sit up and stuff. It really does happen.
Like when you sit up?
Not really sit up, but like if you die like sitting up, it's hard to get you
back down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking somebody's laying flat or something, and all of a sudden they get up.
Oh no.
Okay.
I've never seen that. But.
Right. So obviously I'm thinking stuff in the movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I want to take a chance to shout out to our sponsor, Streetside Classic, Dunkin' Donuts, Miss Mary Lee over there. Thank you for supporting us. Painless Wires. Hey, go to our website, tftcommunity.org, and see the rest of our sponsors who's part of helping out in the community. And so my aunt, I have an Aunt Gina also in Houston, is a mortician.
Oh, cool.
So I want to take this opportunity to say I know Aunt Gina out there in Houston. She's done our family. Yeah.
That's where I went to my mortuary school, was in Houston.
Okay. Yeah. My Aunt Gina been doing it for you. She will not retire.
Yeah.
And she's I don't want to say her age, but she can retire right now if she wanted to.
Yeah.
So I guess it is a job that you keep on doing, keep on
Very
doing.
Passionate, for sure.
Okay.
It's a lot, yeah.
And so you get these calls because I'm thinking people die all the time, different times of the day. So what is a daily life for ME or mortician for you?
So our office, we work 3 days on and 4 days off.
Okay.
So I work Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and my schedule's from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then around like 9 or 10, another one of my colleagues comes on because it's really busy usually.
Right.
We don't investigate every death, like I said, we just investigate the natural ones. But we also do get ones that people die at home or they're on hospice. They still have to call us to let us know.
Right.
So on the days during the week, like Thursdays and Fridays, I actually go to our office and take we each have our own cell phone. We have our own vehicle the county provides because we go into some
That's a good job.
crazy things. They don't want us tracking it in our own vehicles,
Okay.
Oh
Yeah. Also, get stuff contaminated.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Okay.
So the sheriff's department's the one that dispatches us out, and they're like, okay, I do the whole county. So I go to Frisco, I go to Carrollton, I go to Fort Worth even. I've been kind of over here not too long ago. There's like on the border of Tarrant and Denton, past the motor speedway. And then we called the cop that's there at the scene and asked him, hey, what's going on? Like, what do you think's going on? They usually tell us, like, you know, in the state of Texas, no one can touch a dead body once it's been pronounced unless you are a medical examiner.
Okay.
So once they're dead, they have to wait for us to get there if
Right.
they want to roll them or search them or anything. So they're like, we have this guy, we think this is what's going on, and then we decide if we're going to go out there or not.
So you say you can't touch them when they're dead. So I'm thinking, besides the you know, checking the pulse,
Yeah, the
you know,
EMT can, yeah.
right. But once they realize, okay, you're dead, then
Yeah.
it's hands off.
Yeah, hands
let
off.
the experts come in.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the experts
Yeah,
come in.
exactly.
Okay. So, which situation is most likely to warrant an autopsy? Like you said, unnatural
Yeah.
death versus a natural death. Hospitals, you're not going to need
Yeah,
an autopsy.
exactly.
So, tell me, when do y'all do the autopsy?
So everyone gets some kind of autopsy if we go get them. We have external, and we actually have 3 different types of autopsies. There's absentia autopsies, and those are for like people, older people that are on hospice that might have fallen and broken a hip,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then maybe like 2 months go by and they pass away. Technically, their death is an accident because they never made it back to baseline from when they died. So we don't have to bring them in for an autopsy because we already know that they broke their hip. We have all their medical records, so we just get their medical records, look over them, and rule their death that way. We still have to write the report and everything, but they don't come in physically to our office for an autopsy. And then the other 2 are external and then an actual autopsy. So we always start with an external. We have like a machine at our facility called a Lodox machine. Everyone goes in there. It takes like a full 3D scan of like your body. And so sometimes they can figure out what happened to you just by doing that. And they don't have to do a full autopsy on you.
So they can just see it through the
Yeah,
okay.
there's like, you know, bullets or embolisms, you know, heart attack, your heart's, you know, you have pneumonia, you can look at all that. It's like a big x-ray machine.
Okay. I just want to dial back into, you mentioned something that you have to go tell the families, you know, that their loved one is no longer coming home. And I want to dial down to the teenagers or the youth. How is that? I mean, I know it's devastating, but you know, I want this to sink into our kids. You know, when you're out there partying, when you're out there doing these things, your family is you know, at home thinking you're going to be safe, but guess what? You're not coming home. So this could be your mother, your father. I'm at the door when she comes. So tell us that.
Yeah, actually, the very last scene that I worked before I went on maternity leave was an 18-year-old, and I had to go tell her family. You know, you never really know how people are going to react to that kind of thing until you're there.
Right.
Some people, I always take an officer with me. Some people I've been like swung at, I've been cursed at, because death is very personal, and people, you never know. So a lot of time when it's kids, you know, this mother, she obviously didn't believe me at first, but the cop was there, you know, and we had to like set her down and then kind of go over everything with her. But mostly when I talk to them, they're like in a state of shock or just, you know, they want to call other people. We also have like a counselor that comes with us too, that is kind of can be there as well. Because it's a lot, especially when you're not expecting it. You know, we just knock at your door and show up, and yeah.
I want to get real close and personal. Hey, am I close enough on this camera? Oh, can y'all see us? I'm gonna get a little closer. I want to tell these kids, is it worth it? Is it worth going out and partying and knowing that your parents at home might get that phone call? Your grandmother, your sister, whoever you're staying with, is it really worth having a hot box or, you know, popping cap, popping bottles? Is it really worth it? Hey, I'm going to say no. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say no. Fortunately, I never, that person has to come to my parents' door. But hey, kids out here, just be careful what you're doing. Stay at home. Do not drink and drive or do any drugs. Ain't nothing wrong with having fun, but do it the right way. Do it the legal way. All right. Thank you. And so it's just something that we're seeing out here, you know. And it's a hard topic when you're telling about drugs and alcohol, because we all been kids. You know, our families party. We see our families partying, but responsibility has to step in somewhere. Somebody got to be responsible.
Exactly.
You know? And also, how about this? Let's do this. So, how many times have you had a family or somebody get killed by a drunk driver or somebody under the influence?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Innocent bystander get killed.
And you know what? I've had that happen at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
They leaving the bar.
That they left the bar, probably went home, and then still were drunk and driving in the morning, like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, like on a Sunday. I had 2 guys changing a tire on the side of 35, got hit by a drunk driver, and it was the middle of the day. Killed them both, and I actually had to go to court over that with him, and he got 10 years in prison for it.
10 years in prison for partying on a Saturday night, killing somebody on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful, you know. We look back at the things we've done and we just never know that God is right there with us a lot of times, you know. And I can think back now that I'm 50 years old, just knowing, man, what an idiot I was, you know, to do some of the things that I did and some of the things my friends have done. Don't be an idiot. I mean, I got to call it like, I want to say worse words, you know, and I don't mind beating myself up about this because, man, oh man. So I'm going to get off that little rant, but I put the crap down and get in the books, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's make some money out here. So let's go to this. Now, you've been doing this for a while. I want to congratulate you, you know, on the baby.
Well, thank you.
You know, Mr. Dexter,
Yeah.
so your newborn. Tell us about that. We're going down to a little personal, you don't mind, do you?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
I've been very, you know, with my job, I also work baby desk too, so I've been very,
See, I didn't think about that one.
traumatized.
I didn't think about that.
I've like, you know, she's only 3 weeks old, so I've been very, I don't know, it's very hard to explain, I guess.
Okay.
But cautious,
definitely
yes.
cautious.
Because I know a lot of things that I've seen, you know, babies pass away and like what their parents did and stuff. So I'm trying to follow everything safe, be very proactive. But yeah.
Got to sleep it on a ball of cotton.
Right.
Got to sleep on a ball of cotton. Stay away.
Yeah.
You got family coming over. Got to look about 10 feet away. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, no, but I understand. You know, newborn. How's Mr. Dexter handling it? Tell me.
Well, he is doing great. He's sick right now, so. But other than that, so I've had her the last couple of days. You know, it's been wild. She doesn't like to sleep at night, so.
Okay.
But she's a sweet baby. She'll get her little routine going soon. So I'm just ready for that.
Okay. So this is the next question I have is what is the strongest thing you've seen at a scene, or the weirdest the head scratcher? What is the head scratcher when you like, man, how did this happen?
Well, the story I was to talk about earlier about one of my kids from TJJD.
Okay.
So this is like a month ago. I get called out. This guy was a hoarder, and he hoarded like cars, actual junk cars. You know?
Oh, not these type of cars.
Not these type of cars.
Not the type of cars that Streetside Classics.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So okay.
Like, you know, like maybe that car, but like rusted out with like no doors. You know, kind of thing.
Okay.
And so he just had like this field of cars, and he sold pieces off of them while they were fixing them up. And so him and this guy went back there to go look at this car, and they found a full intact skeleton in the back seat of one of the cars. And so I get called, and first we have to make sure it's a real skeleton, you know. So anyway, so he still had a wallet on him. So pulled his wallet out. He had a driver's license from 1985 in there. And I'm like, has this guy been in this car since 1985? So I look, and we find the ID for the guy. He's dead. He died like 2 years ago. So this skeleton has this guy's ID. This not the guy. It's not the guy.
Okay.
So I was like, well, where did this car come from? He's like, I don't know. This guy asked to tow it back here a couple weeks ago, you know, whatever. Well, let's see who the car belongs to. So we ran the car plate, and it came back to this guy, and he's been missing. So we're like, okay, well, like, when this guy owned this car lot, a lot of homeless people kind of lived over there. And so he was like, yeah, they sleep in the cars all the time. You know, they need shelter. He let them do whatever. So the car that the skeleton was found in was actually owned by this guy, and his son I counseled when he was in TJJD. His name was John.
Okay.
And I don't have very many of my kids that I counsel on my Facebook, maybe like 5, but John is one of them that I had.
Okay.
So I reached out to him and I said, have you seen your dad lately? And he said, no, I haven't seen him in like 5 years. I was like, well, we found a skeleton in this car. The car is registered to your dad. It's in this field at this guy's house. And he's like, okay. Come to find out, yesterday I got the phone call and it was his dad.
Oh, man. So, 5 years he hasn't seen his dad.
But
so at least they got closure.
He got closure.
Yeah.
We just think that his dad was homeless at the time, kind of living kind of one of those lifestyles. John, obviously, you know, his dad raised him. John got into drugs. He went to JJD. I counseled him. He got out. He got a job as an air conditioner tech. He's been doing that forever. He got married. He has 4 kids now.
Man, good counselor.
I know,
good
right?
Counselor.
And so whenever he got married, he kind of told his dad, you know, I don't want to be around you anymore.
Right.
You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And so.
Wow. We got closure. So.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he's a homeless, you know, we feed the homeless out here in Fort Worth, and so do y'all do it? What the cause of death? Is it just, you know, at that stage you just feel poor body management, or, you know, what do y'all do on that?
For skeletons?
Oh, just a skeleton. So it was
just
nothing.
a complete skeleton.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So there ain't too much.
He'd probably been back there like those 5 years. Probably longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
On those, they usually don't have a cause of death unless, you know, there's like bullets in them or something, but usually it's just undetermined if we can't figure it out.
Now, you mentioned, talked about your baby and how cautious you've been. So what is the youngest death that you investigated?
Probably like a 5-week-old. Probably the youngest, yeah. And a lot of it's like unsafe sleep conditions. Like people will put like blankets all over like little babies and they can't move their heads, or they'll sleep with them in their arms and the baby will fall and like face down and suffocate. It's totally all accidental stuff, but it's all stuff that can be prevented.
Right. So I guess the classes that the classes that they take prior to having, you know, your baby, your child. Did y'all take any classes of these? She's like, no, we didn't take. But I guess you're in this field, so you're gonna be cautious of
Yeah.
it. So okay, you don't have to worry about that. But I'm assuming those topics are covered in those type of classes.
Yeah.
So you would recommend first time mom go take some classes.
Yeah. They give you like a little book when you leave the hospital too.
Okay.
It's like, don't lay your baby like this, lay him like this, kind of thing. Like the basics, but.
Okay. That's so the next one says, what percentages of death you handled are like overdoses with drugs, or you can do overdose with alcohol or drugs. How many versus just regular deaths?
So our number 1 cause of death in our county is falls, old people falling, and number 2 is actually overdoses. We probably work about 10 overdoses a week, probably, and that's probably on the generous side. People overdose on all different kinds of things, so and then we also have to determine whether was it an accidental overdose or whether it was like a suicide overdose. Were they intentionally doing it, or was it like a complete accident? But overdoses are probably like our second number 1 cause of death in our county.
Now, this is a strange question. Y'all might think it's going to be a strange question because it actually says, what is considered a death?
Yeah.
So is that not why does that seem strange to me?
Well, we have some people that hospitals will call us and be like, "We got this guy that's about to die, and he doesn't have any family. What are we supposed to do? What happens if like you're on life support and you want to donate your organs? Are you dead yet?" We have to make all those calls. You have to call us to get approval for that. If it's like if you're in a car wreck and you're on life support, we have to be the ones that approve you donating your organs. And then it's like, well, what point are you actually considered dead? Are you considered dead when they take you off life support, but then they still put you on this machine so they can harvest your organs? Are you considered dead when you're brain dead? So, yeah, we have to do all of that.
from her standpoint, it's not a strange question.
Yeah.
But, you know, to me, it's like, what is a death? They're not breathing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I guess that's not, you know, so weird. But now, I know we talked about your school and how you got into it. But when that opportunity came and you saw that you was able to do it, what made you actually choose that from the counseling to go to become a medical?
I've always, like, growing up, I'm an 80s baby. So CSI came on like right when I was like probably like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I don't know, maybe high school. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I always was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. But I went to criminal justice thinking I was going to be like a cop. But then I was like, I don't think I don't think I have the personality to be a cop. And I don't think I would never write a ticket probably. So.
Well, hey, we need her on the force.
So.
You want to be on her beat, you know.
Yeah.
So
then I was like, well, I like talking to people and like criminals. I always wanted to know like why. Like, why did you want to like do this? I wanted to ask them and like know, you know, like what they were thinking at that time. So I thought counseling would be good. So that's what I went and did. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I can go from talking to people to not talking to anybody. Dead people, they don't talk to me. Just so
dead people don't talk.
They don't talk.
Dead people don't tell no lies.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But they do leave clues.
They do.
They do leave clues. So I'm going to stand by on that one. But we're going to wrap it up here. I know you got to get back to the baby. But give me some words, give some advice, something for the kids. You know, is that drink? Is that smoke? Is it worth it? You know.
Obviously, from what I've seen, no. You don't want to have me come tell your family, you know, to your house that you passed away. You know, even I just throw this in there. I worked a scene one time where it was a kid that passed away, and then like 2 months later, I was back at the same house because the parent decided to kill themselves. So it affects more than. Like, one decision can affect a whole bunch of people that you don't even realize. One little, you know, accident, you know, depending on what happens, can affect you, their family. You know, it's just, it can affect so many more people than what you think. So just think about that. You know, think about other people besides yourself and like what you have to lose, what your family has to lose. It's just, it can be. You know, just be smart about it.
Well, I'm like this. I want to thank you for coming out. And, I mean, you guys, y'all cannot get it from anyone else, a medical examiner, telling you not to go out here drinking and driving, not to be out here partying or doing stupid things, because you do not want to be on her slab. You know what I mean? You do not want her poking on you, cutting you up, and trying to see you cause of death. So, but hey, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to Full Wealthy Work podcast show. We out here at Streetside Classic for the classic community and Caffeine car show. We got A-Wall, they out there setting up right now, so bring your cars. We do have a car show out back, so let's win some trophies. Come on and have some fun. Next, we have Mr. Bobby Killian, and I don't know if I pronounced that name right, but he will pronounce it right. We'll come up. Thank you, Mr. Bobby, for being patient, and we'll see y'all soon. Thank you again, Ms. Heidi.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.